Hello, friends. Time once more for Dear Burt. This time it's, I believe it's our 10th one, Dear Burt 10. Wow, we've gone through 10 sessions. Well, I hope to keep it up. Maybe we'll stop, but not until we've done at least 110 more. I'm enjoying it. I hope you are too. The picture behind me, people ask, why didn't you tell us what the last one was? Well, this one was from Cleveland. I was just driving along with a companion, and she said, you couldn't take a picture of that. There was a bunch of wire laying in the road. And I said, well, let's see what we can do with it. This one there's no painting at all. This one's a pure photograph. It's, I call it wire. Simple enough. At any rate, let me get to a couple of questions, and then I'll just kind of schmooze with you a little bit. That's about what I feel like. I just did a seminar, actually, last weekend, and it was in Los Angeles. It was on quantum jumping. It was 16 hours. Well, you can imagine if what you see in our 9-minute sessions, what happened in 16 hours. But it was filmed, and hopefully we'll have a DVD of it, so perhaps one day I'll tell you a little bit more about it. DVD won't be ready for some time yet, probably another month. But at any rate, let me get to a couple of questions. One from Dras. Dras has written a couple of times. Dras is disabled, but he doesn't like to call it disabled. He prefers misabled, and so I'm going to go by his definition. And what he's asking is, can misabled persons adjust some exercises according to their particular misabledness? We sorted out that the mind is the only true prerequisite for meditation, but isn't the body necessary for action? What if body can't listen, react, or a part of the body? As an example, I can't move most of my body parts, including my tongue, therefore can't do the bhaga. Can visualization replace this? Meanwhile, I'm trying to visualize drawing and deploying the dwaddle. I'll report results. Once again, thanks for your time. Yes, well, Dras, it's true that a certain amount of physical activity for that, the body is required, but, you know, all things are mental. You are apparently a mental being, and as is Stephen Hawking's. All the things that I've been teaching, or that anybody teaches, for that matter, start in the mind. The bhaga is just a trigger device to get the mind to attention. So if you can't do the touch of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, just think that you can, and you will have done it. In quantum jumping, what we do is imagine that we're opening a door and going into another universe, a universe where there is a twin self who is whatever you can imagine. In an infinite universe, whatever you can imagine is. And so, using your mind, you can easily jump into a parallel universe, let us say, where you're perfectly healthy, and go through all of the activity of that body mentally. After all, it is a mental condition when you jump into another universe. You're not physically doing it. That would be against the law of physics, wouldn't it? And we don't know how to do that as yet. But you do jump into that other universe mentally. So just utilize your mind. Meditation, of course, is totally a concentration of the mind. So do all of the exercises that you like to do, that you, let us say, that you have a desire to do, and just do them mentally. It should work out for you fine. We have one, Zukia Clarabet says, Hermes Trismegistus and the 7 principles. Trismegistus. Hermes, thrice great. Well, I'll talk a little bit about the 7 principles, but I can't give you too much because there's so much involved. Yes, I'm very much involved with the 7 principles, have been for many years. The 7 principles are absolutes. Mentalism, that the world is a mental creation of the All, or God. Correspondence, that all things correspond with all other things. We see that on the quantum level, of course, all the time. Vibrations, all things are in constant and never-ending motion. Polarity, all things have an opposite. Opposites are the same, only differing by degree. As an example, hot and cold are the same. They only differ by degree. Ice and steam are just variations of a vibration of water. Rhythm, all things are cyclical. All things are born, grow, peak, deteriorate, and end, or die. But there is no death, there is no ending, because according to the principle of rhythm, when something ends, something begins. When your daytime ends, your night cycle begins. When you go to sleep, your night cycle begins, but you might say that your day cycle died. But when something dies, something always begins. And then your night cycle ends or dies when you wake up, and then your day cycle begins again. That's a very, very simplistic explanation of rhythm. There are cycles within cycles. Once you understand where you are on the degree of rhythm, you pretty much have better control over your life. Then we have cause and effect. Of course, there is a cause for all effects. This is one of the great principles. And the last principle, but by no means the least, is the principle of gender, that states that there's a receptive and an outgoing force in all things, a masculine and a feminine, a positive and a negative force. All 7 of these magnificent principles that guide us are involved with every aspect of life. And perhaps one day I will go through these one at a time. I do these in all of my classes. Of course, the 7 principles they're not necessary, but I do like to explain them because they help people so very much. So this is just kind of as I said, a schmoozing session. I'd like to thank every one of you. You've been so wonderful with your comments. I'm in awe of you all. I love you all, and with the true meaning of the word. You know how I look at love. Positive viewpoint. I have a positive viewpoint towards every single one of you who watch this and who keep in touch via the comments. But for the next one, why don't you ask a question about any subject, and if I can't answer it, I'll just say this is something I don't have an answer for. But with all of the quantum, the mind box, the Hermetic principles, the yoga principles that I've been involved with, there should be an answer there somewhere. Also, in the next one, I'll be talking a little bit about quantum water. I see a few comments of people who've used quantum water, and some of you want to know a little bit more about it. How do you go about making it, creating it? That'll be for the next one. It's quite easy, as are all things, simple. So look forward to next Friday when we'll have another Dear Burt. And do ask some questions. I enjoy answering them for you. This is going to be the end of this one. Keep an eye out for Friday when we do another Dear Burt. Hopefully I've helped some of you, but as I say, this time I just wanted to say hello. And do have a good rest of the day, whatever the time is when you're watching this. Have a good week, a wonderful month, and we'll soon be at the end of 2009, amazingly enough. Have a good rest of the year. Too early to wish you a Merry Christmas, but I'm preparing you for 2010, and hopefully you will have a wonderful 2010. So, this is Burt Goldman, your American monk, signing off.